Welcome to lesson 7.5. In this lesson, you're definitely going to want to have your hands on a unit circle. So if you have your laminated one that you made in class, you can look at that one. If not, there is one included right here that you can look at. Either way, you're going to want to look at a unit circle for this lesson. Now, we're going to start with something pretty simple. Last lesson, we had you do things like this, where this was an angle, and we know that sine is the y value. So you went to this angle and found the y value, and that was your answer. So here's the angle, pi thirds. There's that y value, root 3 over 2. And that was your answer. And that's how we did things in 7.3. Well, today we're going to switch things around a little bit. And we're going to instead look at problems like this. But this is still the same thing, where this is your angle, and this is the y value at that angle. So we're kind of going to go backwards this time, where you're going to look at this unit circle and say, where is this the y value? Well, right there is 1. There's root 3 over 2. That's a y value. And the angle that goes with that is pi thirds. So we're essentially saying if I put pi thirds here, then sine of pi thirds is root 3 over 2. We're solving for this part of the equation now instead of this part. Now, the tricky thing about this is that is not the only answer. There is another angle on the unit circle that has a y value of root 3 over 2. And it's right there. That also has a y value of root 3 over 2. So that means 2 pi thirds is also an answer. So this right here is both of our answers. Now, a lot of these problems will have 2 answers, but that's not always the case. Sometimes they have 1 answer, sometimes they have 4 answers. It can vary. Let me show you an example of one that has 1 answer. So let's do cosine of -1. Or sorry, did that wrong. Cosine of x equals -1. Cosine is our x value. So we're essentially saying what angle gives us an x value of -1. So I look on my unit circle and try to find the x value that is -1. Well, that happens right there. Well, the angle is pi or 180. Well, is there any other place on the unit circle that has an x value of -1? There's a +1, but that doesn't count. It has to be exactly the same. So this is the only angle that fits that problem. So this one only has 1 answer. Now that we've talked about what these mean at their core, in the next video, we'll do a couple examples where they're a little more complicated. And we'll also do an example of tangent, which is definitely the hardest one to do.